Hey, what's up, people? It's your boy again. Coming with my second video. Just trying to get them out to you as much as is possible. And we're talking about business today. And I just want to just give you any information I have, any insight that I have that would help you in your business, just like I have had help in my business throughout the years. And so, because I think that any information that one has is not theirs to keep, it's theirs to give out and for other people to thrive on it, and then they can take it and they can build on top of it, and then they can, give it out to others as well. Um, Behind me, you see my book library. I like to read a lot. I'm still old school. I like to open up a book, like touch, feel, have that. Read a lot of books. My genre is pretty much my palette is pretty much everywhere. Um, when I was much younger, reading was not one of my things that I was, how can you say, attracted to, more or less. But I made it over time. I just continued to start finding books that would interest me, and then that led me to read more and more and more. I don't care if it was a sports book or whatever, but it came out to be, it was more like business books. I was fascinated with business, and I started reading businesses, autobiographies, and things like that, and it just kind of helped me out throughout the years. Um, and it helps you with your vocabulary, helps you with your speaking and things like that, builds that confidence in you if you were lacking in that department. Because at one point I was not one that liked to speak in front of crowds, or because I didn't trust it, but now it's not a problem. um, but what I want to talk, your business, if you're forming a business, you really going to have to um, your circle, it may have to get smaller, simply because most people that's going to be around you is not going to be for you. A lot of people who are rooting for you are not really cheering for you. And so you're going to have to know that going in, because not everybody is going to be able to do what you have set out to do. And it's no knock on them. Is that sometimes you're going to have people there looking for you to fail so they can applaud in silence. And um, and if you're going to try to have any kind of business, and your business is going to have its ups and downs, and it's going to have its lefts and rights, and sideways and stuff like that, you're going to have to be able to overcome a lot of stuff. And one thing that you don't need is to have that negative noise around you that's telling you, well, I told you so, why did you do this, and so forth and so on. And so sometimes your circle of friends will become smaller. um, and it's no knock on them, but in order for you to move forward, sometimes you're going to have to take those necessary steps. And so I've just learned over the years is that once you stay focused on something, my weekends were not so much my weekends. My weekends was sometimes geared for studying, because I had more time to study. Get up early, on a Saturday, and I studied because I felt like that was my time. And so, and then especially if you have goals and you have written down your goals, you have said, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is the end game. Um, and you can share those with people that you consider a confidant, and that person could be able help you if that person's a true for you. Sometimes you got to listen to a person who that is there. You don't need 10 people. You don't need 5. It could be a relative, this could be a parent, or someone that you have the utmost respect for, that's going to be candid with you, that want to see you succeed. But sometimes your vision is probably overextended, and you need to pull it back. Not that your vision is not something that you can't obtain, but it's something that you would probably have to do A before you jump to D, right? So you need to find that person who you can have a conversation with, who you can talk to, because everybody needs somebody to talk to. Everybody. Not one person is going to be out there who's going it, that's out there that say, hey, I don't need anybody that I can bounce ideas off of at all. But you got to make sure that person is, okay? Find a time for yourself to meditate, whatever that is, whether you want to meditate, you want to pray, you want to do whatever. You got to find that me time where you're able to block out all the noise, be able to sit down and focus on what you want to do, how you're going to go about doing it, how you're going to go approach your day, things like that. So you're gonna have to find that moment. Sometimes my moment is during the day. I may, go to a park or something like that, and I just may just sit there and just watch life go by. Just while that's happening, I'm thinking about things. I'm just, I'm meditating. I'm going through the process over and over again. Okay, should I do this? How do I go about that? Do I got to make this phone call? Or just sometimes I just look and you know, just let the world talk to me. And so, you know, these are things that you have a sense of balance. You have a sense of purpose, and so you you can't go into any kind of business wanting to be liked by everybody. You can't go into this business saying, "Hey, I want to make everybody smile," because that's not how this works. You got to have a passion in what you do. You got to be ambitious. You got to have to make sacrifice. And that word is kind of used so loosely because people say, what are you really truly sacrificing if you're doing what you want to do?" And that's true. I mean, what are you sacrificing? You're like, hey, if I'm doing something for 3 hours, what I'm sacrificing for those 3 hours? Not nothing, because this is what I want to do for those 3 hours. And so, but most people on the outside would think, hey, you sacrificing out your time because you're doing this, when you could be out here hanging out, doing such and such, such and such. Well, no, that's what you're doing. You're gonna find that people want to. A lot of people out there, if you entangled, with folks, they're going to want the rewards without the work. I mean, you got a lot of people out there. They want the gifts, they want the rewards, they want the perks, they want all this, but they don't want to put the time into it. And so when you get those rewards and you get those perks, because you have put the time and effort in there, there's a certain great appreciation for it, because you say, hey, I know what it took for me to get to this. I know what it took for me to earn this. I know what I needed to do in order to make things happen the way I wanted them to happen, right? So you have to be control of your time, the people you hang around with. If people are never going to have your vision the way you see it, but you can't let people distract you from your vision, because sometimes that can happen too. That some people come into your life and it seems all well and good and hunky dory and make you feel good, but they're not in line to your passion. They're not in line to your goals and what you have to do. As a matter of fact, they become a distraction. And that distraction, so you have a good distraction and you have a bad distraction. Distraction in itself is not really defined in my words, that when we say distraction, that is automatically bad. No, you can have a good distraction. A good distraction is a person who comes into your life and they be like, hey, you know what? You're off track. You said you want to do this, but you're not doing it. So you need to get back on track. So that's a good distraction, because you were going off somewhere else, right? And so you want to make sure that that's not something that you're aligning yourself with when you're around folks. I'm not saying you got to be a hermit. I'm not saying you got to be an introvert. But what I'm saying is that things are going to have to probably change in your life that you normally weren't going to do. Because here's the thing. If you're doing the same thing that you've always been doing, then you can expect the same results. Simple. That's just the way it is. You can't do the same things and expect to have something change in your life, right? So if things are going in your life right now and it's not going away, then you need to do an evaluation to say, okay, why is this not happening for me? Why is this not going on? What I'm doing that's contributing to this, or what is somebody else is contributing. I'm not saying put the blame game, because ultimately you have to make those decisions. So you're gonna have to figure that out, because sometimes the hardest thing people can do is change, because change causes effort. It's cause I'm doing something that I haven't done before, so therefore I'm not certain if I can do this change. I like comfortability. I don't like to make waves. I just like to stay in my lane. I just, which is fine, but what is it going to get you? Okay. We use stay in your lane often, and stay in your lane is not something. So I stay in my lane until I want to make my lane wider. I'm not saying I'm going to shift lanes. And so if my lane is 6 feet and I want to make it 8 feet, what I got to do to make it 8 feet wide? So I'm saying that to say this is that, know who your surroundings are, know who's bringing things to the table, and they're bringing that negative energy. If they're bringing in negative energy and you really like this person, being around you, and maybe because they don't know it, because people like to bring negative energy to a party. Um, you just need to have that conversation with them. Say, listen, I get it. You may be going through everything or whatever, but we can't. That's not my vibe. I don't need to know about this negative thing, especially if your mind is trying to do positive things. Okay, so just let the people around you know that hey, we could talk about world um, stuff going on or whatever the case may be, and what happened today and what happened yesterday, and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, you have to keep your mind fresh, be true to yourself, know who you are. That's most important, because a lot of times we walk around and we don't even know who we are. We haven't um, refamiliarized ourselves with ourselves. We have not. We can look in the mirror sometimes. We know we exist, but do we really know who we are and what our purpose is, and what you are here for? What are your challenges in life? Who are you supposed to affect in terms of make them better or whatever? Because everybody has an assignment. Everybody has an assignment, which they don't probably know what that assignment is, but everybody has an assignment to do something outside of yourself. And so, and if we understand that concept, I believe that things will be much better than they are today. So, um, figure out the things that you need to do. Try to get a formula where you can help others. To surround yourself with people who are driven. They don't have to have the same goals as you. I mean, they don't have to say, hey, I want to get to, the mountaintop. People can say, hey, I just want to get to that hill. But if they're driven, because that's positive energy, that's driven, then you will probably find yourself being more motivated. Sometimes you only need to see somebody doing something in a positive form to elevate your game, right? That's why I say, they say, oh, this person is working out, so he inspired me or she inspired me to do something great. So that's what this is about. Who can you inspire to do something that they normally wouldn't do, or make it easier for them to make change, right? So, it's a real thing that's going on out there. You don't want to try to keep yourself in a situation where you're being negative, or you're Debbie Downer or whatever. You want to be a person that you can go out there, and motivate somebody who's going through something. Say good morning, good night, good afternoon. Open a door for a person. Do the things that you want, that you can help somebody, because you don't know what people are going through. You just don't. We're very good actors. We're very good actors when it comes up to certain things. We're smiling when we're crying. We're spending money that we don't have. We're living where we can't afford. Things like that. We're very good actors putting that persona. And so it's very important for you to be there for people, and so people can be there for you. I didn't say you have to open up yourself to the whole world, but you get an idea of what the people are there that's gonna be in your corner, and who's there just to take. Okay, so again, tired of talking to you guys, because I can't go on these videos too long, because half of you guys, attention span is not quite there. So I'm gonna give you videos every now and then, talk about business, talk about whatever I need to talk about. But in the meantime, go buy the block.